Hey there, language lovers. Ready to unlock the secrets of natural English?
You've come to the right place.
We're diving deep into the top 10 daily phrases that can help you sound like a native speaker. We've got an awesome guide, and you know what?
What?
It's specifically designed for beginners. It's like having a cheat sheet for everyday conversations. Those little phrases we use all the time without even realizing it.
Yeah, they're the building blocks of real-life conversations, the English you hear in cafes and on the streets, not just in textbooks.
Exactly. I'm so excited to unpack these with you because mastering them can make such a difference. It's like you've got this secret code to unlock smoother, more natural interactions. So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's start with greetings, the foundation of any conversation.
Right. And our guide kicks off with two classics, how's it going and what's up? Now, I know those might seem simple, but trust me, they're so versatile.
Oh, they really are. What's up is super casual, perfect for friends or family. But how's it going can be used in slightly more formal settings too. That's like a chameleon, it adapts to the situation.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way. Like it bridges the gap between casual and formal.
Yeah.
So you could even use it with a colleague or a teacher.
Exactly. It's a safe bet for most everyday interactions. And you know what I find so fascinating is that in many cultures, greetings are way more formal. But in American English, there's this emphasis on casual friendliness, even in professional settings. So how's it going? Has become so common, it's even replaced the traditional, how do you do?
Whoa. That's such a great insight into the culture behind the language. It's not just learning the words, it's about understanding the vibe.
It is. And speaking of vibe, there's another greeting in our guide that always makes me smile. Long time no see.
Oh, I love that one. It's so warm and genuine. You don't really learn that in textbooks. It feels so authentic.
You're right. It's one of those phrases that instantly creates a connection. I remember once I was at a local market and bumped into the owner who I hadn't seen in months. And when I said, long time no see, his face just lit up. It felt like we were old friends catching up.
See, that's the magic of these phrases. They go beyond the literal meaning and tap into something deeper. It's like you're speaking the language of the heart.
Absolutely. And that's what makes language learning so rewarding. It's not just about grammar rules, it's about connecting with people on a human level.
I couldn't agree more. So we've covered the warm and fuzzy greetings. What about when you need to, keep the conversation flowing smoothly?
Yes. That's where phrases 4 through 6 come in. These are all about navigating those little hiccups we all experience in conversations, especially when you're learning a new language.
Right, like when you can't quite catch what someone said. I know as a beginner, I was always hesitant to ask people to repeat themselves. I didn't want to seem, slow or anything. But our guide has a simple solution. Could you repeat that?
Yes, and let me tell you, that phrase is your best friend. Don't ever be afraid to use it. In fact, it shows you're actively listening and you genuinely want to understand.
That's a good point. It turns a potential awkward moment into a positive one. It's like saying, hey, I'm really interested, but I want to make sure I hear every word.
Exactly. It's so much better than pretending you understood and then missing out on half the conversation. Remember, everyone mishears things, even native speakers.
Absolutely. So, could you repeat that? Is definitely going on my list of essential phrases, and right alongside it we've got, how do you spell that?
Oh, that one is a lifesaver, especially when you encounter new vocabulary. Imagine you're at a restaurant and you see an interesting dish on the menu, but the spelling is tricky. Don't be shy, just ask the waiter, how do you spell that? It's perfectly normal.
Right, and it shows that you're eager to learn. And speaking of learning, there's another phrase in this section that I think deserves special attention. What do you mean?
Yes. That one is a game changer. And I know some learners may hesitate to use it because they think it makes them sound, not so smart. But in reality, it's the opposite. It shows that you're curious and want to understand the nuances of what's being said.
Right, and that's especially important in English with all the idioms and slang. Sometimes you need clarification to avoid misunderstandings.
Absolutely. What do you mean? Is the key to unlocking the hidden meanings behind those colorful expressions. Don't be afraid to use it.
Yeah.
Use it. And sometimes you understand the words, but you're not quite sure about the tone. Like, are they serious or are they joking?
Oh my gosh, yes. Humor can be so tricky in a new language. I remember this one time at a party, someone made a joke and I totally misinterpreted it. I thought they were serious. And I gave this long, heartfelt response. It was so awkward.
We've all been there. I remember I was having lunch with a colleague. And he said something, and I thought it was like a criticism of my work. I was ready to get all defensive. And then he just smiled and said, just kidding.
Phew, what a relief. That little phrase, I'm just kidding, can save a conversation. From going completely off the rails, it's like a safety net when humor gets lost in translation.
It really is. And it's interesting. That phrase highlights how important it is to read social cues. Like, even if you don't understand every word, you can pay attention to body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. It can give you clues about what the speaker really means.
That's such a great point. It's like you're learning to speak the unspoken language, and that's something that comes with practice and exposure to the culture, right?
Absolutely. The more you immerse yourself in the language, the more you pick up on those subtle cues. But you know what? Even as a beginner, you can start to develop this awareness just by observing how people interact.
Okay, so we've talked about greetings, clarifying things when you're confused, and navigating humor. What other essential phrases does our guide have for us?
Well, let's move on to phrases that add a touch of warmth and personality. Those little expressions that make you sound friendly and approachable?
Ooh, I like that. Because language isn't just about giving information, it's about building connections. So, what's our first friendly phrase?
It's a simple one, but so powerful. No worries.
Oh, I love no worries. It's so casual and easygoing. It's like a more relaxed way of saying, you're welcome.
Exactly. And it reflects that sort of laid-back attitude that's so common in American culture. It's like saying, hey, no problem at all. Happy to help. It instantly creates a sense of camaraderie.
And it's so much more versatile than you're welcome,
Yeah.
right? Like you can use it in so many different situations.
Oh, absolutely. Someone holds the door open for no worries. A friend thanks you for a favor. No worries. A colleague apologizes for a minor mistake. No worries. It's like a magic phrase that smooths over any awkwardness.
It's like a verbal hug.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next on our list of friendly phrases?
This one is short and sweet. Sounds good.
Ooh, yes. I use sounds good all the time. It's like the ultimate affirmation, in casual conversation.
It is. It's a quick and easy way to agree, show enthusiasm, and a willingness to go with the flow. So whether you're agreeing to meet for coffee, or confirming a plan, or just acknowledging a suggestion, sounds good, conveys a really positive and engaged attitude.
And it's so much more natural than saying like, yes, I agree, or okay, that works for me.
Yeah.
It's like you're speaking the language of everyday life.
Yes, precisely. It just blends right into casual conversation. And what I find interesting is that it also reflects a certain level of trust and comfort in the relationship. You're basically saying, I trust your judgment. I'm on board with whatever you suggest.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. It's like a subtle signal of connection.
It is. And those little signals can make a big difference in how people perceive you. They create warmth and rapport, which is essential for building relationships.
Okay, we're down to our last phrase. And it's one that I think has a special significance. Take care.
Ah, yes. Take care. It might seem like a simple goodbye, but like you said, it's much deeper than that.
It is. It's like you're expressing genuine care for the other person. It's not just, see you later. It's, I value you, and I want you to be safe and happy.
Exactly. And that kind of warmth and sincerity, can leave a lasting impression. Even in fleeting interactions, it shows that you see the other person as more than just a stranger.
And it's interesting, because in so many cultures, saying goodbye is way more formal. But in American English, there's this tendency to even make casual farewells a little bit more personal.
That's a great observation, and I think take care really embodies that blend of casualness and warmth. It's like saying, hey, I'm going my way, you're going yours, but I'm sending you good vibes and wishing you all the best.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, I'm sending you good vibes and I wish you all the best. It's a nice little reminder that we're all connected, even those quick little moments. So we've covered so much today. From casual greetings to those warm farewells, 10 simple phrases, but each one, packed with so much meaning and nuance.
Yeah, and each one is a powerful tool for connecting with people and expressing yourself with confidence. It's amazing how much impact these little phrases can have.
It really is. So for those listening who are just beginning their English journey, what's the best way for them to, make these phrases a part of their everyday speaking?
Well, that's a great question. The key is practice, practice, practice. Don't be afraid to use them in real conversations. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
And don't worry about making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. It's all part of the process. In fact, I'd say mistakes are your best teachers. Each time you stumble, you learn something new.
Exactly. And, remember that language learning is a journey, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. So be patient with yourself, celebrate your successes, and keep pushing yourself out of that comfort zone.
I love that. So any practical tips for our listeners on how to actually make this happen, how to add these phrases into their daily life?
Well, one thing you can do is make some flashcards, with the phrases on one side and their meanings or some example sentences on the other. Then you can review them regularly and try to use them when you're speaking whenever you can.
Flashcards, yeah. Those are great. You can carry them around and practice, like whenever you have a few extra minutes.
Right. And another great tip is to find a language partner, someone who you can practice with.
Yeah.
And get feedback. It could be a friend, a family member, maybe even an online language exchange partner.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea, because nothing beats actual conversation practice, right? That's where you really get to put those phrases to the test and see how they work in real life.
Yeah, exactly. And the goal isn't to memorize these phrases word for word. It's more about understanding how they're used, why they're effective, and how you can adapt them to different situations.
That's such an important point. It's about getting a feel for the language, how it flows, how it connects you with others.
Absolutely. And as you continue on your English journey, I really encourage you to pay attention to the language around you. Listen to how native speakers are using these phrases, and just notice those little things, like the tone and emphasis. See if you can add those into your own speech.
Yeah, that's like taking your language skills to a whole other level. It's about going beyond those textbooks and really embracing the richness and complexity of real communication.
It really is. And it's a journey that's full of surprises, new discoveries, and a lot of rewards. So for all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep practicing, and most importantly, have fun with the language.
And as you go out and practice your conversations in English, we'd love to hear from you. What other phrases have you found helpful, or are you curious about? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into everyday English. Until next time, take care.